Hi, what's up and welcome to this After Effects tutorial. My name is Mr. Popo and we are Popo. Today we're going to be creating this. This was a work inspired from the Visio project that Studio Tundril has done, and I just wanted to take a stab on it and see the kind of technique that they used, and at the same time try to add a little bit of what I know to just see how I can put my own taste into it. And it was a very interesting project. Before we go ahead and jump into the project, I would like to thank the sound designer Fita, who gracefully did the sound effects for that piece. He's an amazing sound designer from Brazil, or located in Brazil, and he does really amazing work that I highly recommend. Some crazy stuff for MTV, some very inspirational music as well. So it's all round motion design and video targeted kind of studio. So yeah, that's for the sound design, as you can see, motion graphics. So yeah, thank you so much, Fita, and let's jump right into the tutorial. Okay, so doing this, this was a pretty chill and challenging project in the same time. So I'm just gonna delete the sound so that we can actually just scrub through. So most importantly, what I needed to do is just figure out where to start and how to go about this. Because normally what just happens is when you start on a glitch logo reveal, on a glitch compositing as a whole, you see it like this, and you try to build this first, and then you get overwhelmed, like, how do I do this? What's going on with this? How is this like that and the other things are the other way? What is these things? How do I think about those? Well, the answer is you don't. Okay, so the way you start this project, you have to already see it in your head, and then you start again from the start. It sounds cheesy, but it is. So the first thing that I did was I went and I created this is how I started. So the first thing that I did was I created these, I traced them. So I just traced them, just like this. And then what I did was I just made sure when I was tracing that I have the points like this. So for example, here, I do have 2 points here and 2 points there. Why? So that I can drag, I can drag these, so that I have a line here. Because if I don't, hold on. So let's just go, for example, and try to delete these. So you say, hey, I could just have one here. Why do you have 2 there? Well, because if I try now to drag this so that I can do that, hold on. So I can do that drag effect. So let's just select all this. Okay, so to do that drag effect, you know what? I'm just gonna do it like this. Cool. So to do the drag effect, you see what's gonna happen? It's not gonna give me that line. But then if I... Okay, so now I would be able to have that drag effect because I have 2 points there. You see that? Now I do have that drag effect. So it is really important that your letter is split into 2. It's a perfect symmetry. It is really important to have that. So that is the main thing that I had in mind when I was tracing the logo. Is I need to make sure that my logo is a symmetry so that I can drag it left or I can drag it right. Okay, so that's how actually you have this effect. So I'm just going to show you an example here. So I'm going to open a new composition. I'm going to say drag tutorial, and then I'm just going to put this one here, and I'm just going to delete all the paths and position. Okay, so we have this letter V that we're going to put in the center. So how do we do all this? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside the path. All right, and I'm going to say that this is the last, this is, you know, the last place where it's going to be, and then after 10 or 20 frames it's going to be here. So first I'm going to take again, I'll do V while all the points are selected, and then I'm just going to select, and then I'm just going to drag. So there is this, you know, you could do this, and then what you would do after that is you actually just go take all this like that. I forgot one. I can't seem to select it somehow. Okay. Okay. There we go. So that's how you do a drag. And then what's going to happen, you'll have this effect. Cool. But for now, I feel like these are a little bit too far. So I'm just going to do it like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to position. 1, 2. This is the end position. And early position is going to be somewhere here. Could be something like this. And then it goes like that. And then of course with a little bit of keyframing, you can get it to just snap right in. So one of these could be maybe something like this. It just snaps. Maybe that's what you want. Maybe you just want a little bit. Okay, there is one. And you can also play with this, so you could make it drag even more, you know, so it just drags while it's coming in. And another thing you could do is you could make this really drag by just, you know, playing with this. So all this is how you do that drag, is you just do a position and you play with the path. Okay, so you just play with one side of the path. I mean, you could play with the other side too. I mean, you could just say that these letters are gonna come from all the other side, you know. So instead of having a position, let's just say like this, what you could do is we can say that this is the end, and then in the beginning this is what's gonna, you know, you could do something like this. And then here, here, and here. Still didn't select that one. Okay. This one. So you could do the same thing here. You see, so then you will have that Valorant kind of thing, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Cool. So that's how a drag is done. Now let's get back here. So what I did was I did the drag for all the letters. So as you can see. So once I did the drag, what I did was I created a null object, this one. So this null object, what it does, it just scales. As you can see here, this is the end. This is where the logo sits. And then I just went and I made the logo bigger, like 400%. So it's like 4 times bigger. So it goes like this. All right. So let me show you an example. So if I take this, I can do a null object, and I'll call this scalar 1. I'll show you why I called it scalar 1. And let's just put all this in the center. So 50 and 50. Okay, cool. And I'm just going to do this. I'm going to say that it's going to come here. This is the end. But in the beginning, I want it to be like this. And so what's going to happen is the logo is going to be animated, but then okay, and then I'll just say that it's going to be like this, something like that. All right, or maybe I'll do the other way around. So this is all about how do you want your logo to come in. Okay, so that's one. I'm not a big fan of it staying just like this. Normally what I do, hold on, it's just a little bit too big. That's what she said. Okay. Okay. Normally I don't like it to just stand like this. So what I do is I make another null object, and I call this scalar 2. And this one, what it does, it just keeps it going. So I'm just going to do a scale here. And then let's just say here, I'll just say around 90. Okay, then I go in the beginning and then I make sure this one follows that. And so it's going to keep on going, if you see what I mean here. So it doesn't stop, it keeps on going. Okay, so just to make it more prominent, I'm going to go here and do 80. Then you'll be able to see what's going on. You see, so it keeps on going. So this is what the other scalar is for. It's just to make this keep on going. Because if you try to make all the scale in here, you'll have to do a lot of work in here. So, for example, I'll just say that this one is not following this anymore, okay? And I'll just say that I want this to keep on going on. So I'll just say I want it to keep on going until 30, for example, okay? So it's gonna happen. You see here, what happened is velocity equals to 0 at this point. As you can see here, it equals to 0. So for me to keep it going, I would need to mess with the curve just so that I can have that. But then you will still have these problems where, as you can, like the problems where this will actually go up. So because you don't have enough room for it to go. So it's a huge problem. It keeps on going, but you see, we have this boomerang because we need to play with the curve. Because right here, if I just show you this, you see the curve actually goes up. So you need to find the perfect balance to keep the curve just going right. Actually, I just wonder how it's going to be now. You see, it doesn't. There we go. But you need to do a lot of work. And I think I try to avoid all this. Again, all this, why I do it just so that I improve my workflow. And I feel like this workflow is the best. So I don't need to worry about any graph or anything. It just keeps on going. Why do I have to spend time if I have the solution rather than going and trying to do that all in that keyframe? I mean, you could do it, but I'm against that. So yeah, we have the second scalar, just as I showed you, it just keeps on going. It's very linear. That's the whole point. It has to be linear. Cool. So we've got 2 letters coming from the other side, 2 letters coming from the other side, and this one is stretched on that one side. Cool. And all the letters, they come from here and here. And just to make sure that everything is correct, I went into the ruler and I said that it's going to be around like 200 pixels out of the screen, 200 pixels out of the screen. And as you can see, everything just starts and ends at the right time. Perfect. So that's pretty much what I did here. Now let's get back. So what is the next step? The next step that I did, let's just take this as an example. So what I did here, the next step that I did was I made sure that this is rasterized. The reason I did this rasterized is because I'm gonna be scaling it up. I'm like way too much. We're talking like 1000%, 900%. So I need it to be rasterized, and that's why it's good to have its shape layer or coming from Illustrator or something. It's not a picture, because I can scale this as much as I want and it's never gonna get pixelated. So I do this rasterize to tell After Effects that whatever this is, please don't look at it as a picture. Look at it just as a folder that you're gonna scale up. Okay, so that's what this means. And what I did was I created this effect called fill so that I can give it this color, but that's not relevant to us for this tutorial. And so what I did was, once I took this, I cut it into half. As you can see here, a mask. Right now the mask is disabled, okay? But I started with this. I did a mask that just cuts things into half, okay? So, why so? Because right now, just show you this. Cool. The top part is scaled at 100%. The below part is scaled at 98%. So you feel like there is this you know, this glitch thing happening. So you see what happens? I just cut things, and this is the thing about glitching, is just you just cut it at the right time. Okay, so let's just take this for an example, just so that I can show you guys. Oh, I pressed the wrong keyboard. So let's just take this. I'll take Control Copy, and let's just delete this since we don't need it anymore. Okay, so I'm just gonna go. So this is my mask. Okay, so I just mask this. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do one add. I'm gonna duplicate this, and I'm gonna say that this is gonna be subtract. This is gonna be the top part. Okay, so the top part 100%, the below part, it is really important that my anchor point stays in the center. It is really important, because if it's in another, if the anchor point is in wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? Hello? What? Wait, where did it go? Wait, where did it go? Okay, where did this go? Okay, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna just duplicate it, and we're gonna say that this one is actually add. Cool. So it is really important that the anchor point is in the center, because if I put it here, or if I put the anchor point in any other way, it's gonna scale from there. So if I try here to do a 98%, you see, everything else is gonna come from here. So it's really important that you keep this in mind. And this could be the thing that you are looking for. Me, I wanted things to be a symmetry. Again, everything is coming from the center, left and right. That's why it was really important that the anchor point stays in the center, exactly like the other comp. I mean, you could do even this. Maybe you want things to be tilted slightly this way. You know, this could work. This could actually really work, you know? So, yeah. So that's one way of doing it. Now, I'm just going to go here and say that this is going to be 97%, just that it's very prominent, and I can show you in this tutorial. So the glitch technique is basically what you do is you just cut things in the right, you know, just randomly or in the right time. So I'm just gonna cut this Control Shift D, so it cut it here, and then in this one, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna say that the mask is none. So yeah, it's just gonna be normal. So what's gonna happen now? I'm gonna have this. You see, I'm just gonna have this cut, and with a good sound design, it's just gonna make sense. Okay. Great. Now, how about the other things? Well, it is very simple. All I need to do now is just play with this. So I could just go, for example, here, and I could just come, for example, in the beginning, and we're just gonna go to the beginning. Where's the beginning? It's here. Okay. So we're just gonna drag that here. Cool. So in the beginning, we have this cut there. You see? So what I'm gonna do, I could just make this, let's just say that this is duplicated. This is gonna be subtract. Cool. So for this one, I'm really gonna scale it, and then I want, yeah, I want the V. Let's just go here. Okay, so I want the V, for example. Where is it? There we go. This is the I need the V. Okay, there we go. And now I'm just gonna take this anchor point, and I just want to scale from there just to make sure that my V is always there. There we go. So that's where I got my V. And now here I could just play and see that, oh, maybe I want this part. So I'm just gonna go and scale this way too much. So yeah, this is basically what I had to do. Okay, cool. So I could just do something like this, you know. So after like 2 frames, so after like 2 frames or something, I can change again, change the scale, and that's exactly what I've been doing for my side here. So it's just you play through when do you see something. So again, exactly like I showed, anchor point here, and for others maybe the anchor point is another side, and this is what you get. You see, it's exactly the same comp. It's exactly the same comp. And then you just cut here and there. Okay? Good. Now let's talk about something else now. Now, one thing I did here was, for example, let's just say that this is V. Okay? So what I did to stylize this the same way as you can see it in the video. So I duplicated this, okay? And then I went and I changed the color. So just for representation, I'm just gonna put it this way. I'm gonna put it behind and I'm just gonna drag it like this. So now I have this color there. Okay, so the same thing I'm gonna do again. So I'm just gonna take this color here. I'm just gonna duplicate this. And I'm just gonna give it the color. Cool, I'm just gonna put it behind. And I'm just gonna say that this is gonna be something like that. You see, so you get this this kind of different colors, different letters. So that's one. So for example, here, what I could do to make it more stylized is I'm just going to give you an example here. So I'm just going to say at this very frame, I'm just going to give it a color, and then I'm going to say I just want this, but then I want it to be intersected. So only the part where this mask and the other mask intersect. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it below it, but then I'm going to just drag it like this. So it's going to happen like zzz. Okay, so you get that zzz there. Another thing you could do here, if you take this tool here and you go on your layer and then you drag it, you will have different timing of that layer. So you can play with the timing of that layer there. So you could look for a place where this was, what do we call that, at this time dragged. And then what you can do is with the same tool, you go on the mask and you can place it. So I'm just going to place this one here, for example. And so what's going to happen is you're going to have something like that. You have to know that when you're doing glitches, you can always go and freeze frame here. So no matter what's going to happen, you're going to get that there. Cool? So this is how normally glitches work. I'm just going to... Okay, so this is how glitches work. But then there is another style that I want to show you. It's a stack of effects. So when you look at the final thing, I have this kind of lines. So how did I do them? Normally you would think that what I did was I created another comp and I made this only strokes. But that's a lot of work, because if you want to change something in the animation, you will have to change the exact same thing for the other comp. So that's not really good. So what I did instead was I did a stack of effects. So let me show you. So for example, let's look at, let's just look at that, which is this one. So this is how it looks like. So what I did was I created an effect called Find Edges. Find Edges will give me this. All right, I'm just gonna Find Edges will just try to find the edges. Okay, and then when I invert, it gives me the outside of the edges. Cool. Now let's look at it. Now, what I didn't like is sometimes I didn't like this kind of irregularities there. So what I do instead, I try to play with the linear color. And it also removes the background here. So let me show you what I mean by that. If I don't do linear color, I'm gonna have that black thing there. but I do linear color so that I can remove that black color and so that I can fix if there is anything I can fix about irregularities. So linear color, and then I color it. So let me show you this. Let me just show you this. Probably you didn't understand. That's okay. So let's just go here. Let's just make this one here. This. Just duplicate it. Cool. So now we see it alone, and we're just gonna give it purple color. Let's give it a purple color, and just hide it for now. So now we want the stroke of this. So I'm gonna go find edges, invert. Good. Now I still have the black thing. The black thing I'm gonna go and do linear color key, remove the black. Once I remove the black, I can put the color in. There we go. So now what I could do, again, just like what we did before, I could just take this and just do intersect. Now I only have that U. Now I can take this U and just put it somewhere here. Or I could just even put it behind all of this. And the same thing could happen here, because now we have this solution. So I could just go and copy this solution. Okay? And then I can just go duplicate this. And let's look for putting, oh no, I didn't copy that. Find edges. Oh no. Oh no, I pasted it on, oh no, I pasted it on the same one. Okay, well, that's really sad. Okay. Cool, so I'll copy all this. And then I go to this, duplicate. Let me see you. Paste. Great. And then we're just gonna move this somewhere like that. Great. And let's just put it behind. Great. What we could do again, I could just take this too. And then always remember intersect so that you can only get that part. It's good. Something else that you can do, remember, you can just make this like that. What you could do, actually, you could just drag this. And now this could be here. And then you can just play with this and put it here. So now we have that thing there. And this could actually just stay for this much. So glitches appear in just a fraction, like few frames only. So then what's gonna happen here? You see that? Cool. Now that I got that, what I could start doing now is I could add a little bit of shapes. So for example, here we have this blue thing. So to make sure that I follow up with that and not make the user completely forget about that shape, I'm just gonna make like this line. So meaning that that shape got glitched. So we have this line on the screen, meaning that there is a problem in the way my screen is reading the color. So I'll just do that for just 2 frames or something like that. For just 2 frames. Yeah, just like that. Just like that. Just one square like this. So here's what's gonna happen. Normally, you see that? It makes sense that this shape, which I actually can just copy the color, just so that you can understand perfectly what I mean. The glitch on the screen, because this is what happens. The glitch is just an error of how the screen processes images. So it duplicated this letter. It read it so wrong that it changed the color, but then because it keeps on reading, the color now doesn't exist on the screen. So the screen just puts it there and then tries to recheck and removes it because it doesn't belong here. So the screen realizes that the color does not belong there. That's how I see glitches. I try to find meaning into the glitches, not just do them randomly. There must be a meaning. That's how you can get through things faster and master the art of whatever you're doing. Is just give them a meaning that probably does not make sense to this guy, to that guy, to whoever. But if it makes sense to you, that's great. So that's how I did this piece. So I said, okay, this is how I'm gonna make that thing disappear. So same thing. All right, so how we're gonna make that thing disappear? Again, I'm just gonna take this. I'm gonna copy that color there. And then I'm just gonna do something here. Just when that thing disappears. Which is somewhere around here. And then 1, 2. You see? It makes so much sense than just not having them. Watch. You see? But having these two, watch, it makes sense. So that's what I mean. Another thing you could do, and I played with it, with this quite a bit, and I really liked it. So for example here, just to introduce that thing. So what you can do is, let's just say that I'm gonna have this thing there, but then what you could do, you could go on screen, okay, and I start seeing a little bit of the letters, and then I can just go and make this slightly like that. Okay, so then what you have is, oh, sorry. So I'll just have this like that. I'll just have that like that. And one thing you could do here, you can just go inside scale. So I'm just gonna go and put the anchor point here. So I'll just do a scale here and a position. And then I'll just go for a bit, and I'll just say that this is gonna go here, and it's just gonna go like this, and I'm just gonna put this scale here, and then I'm just gonna say that the X is just gonna shorten a bit, and I'm just gonna take everything, and I'm gonna do a toggle hold keyframe. So what are we gonna have now? Cool. Now I'm just gonna put a keyframe here, put a keyframe here, and then I'll just take this toggle hold keyframe. Now what are we gonna have? So we're gonna have things like that, and then I'll just take the whole layer, press Alt, and do it like this. So what it does is it just shrinks the timing of all the keyframes. Okay, another thing I could do here, I could just go to mask, and then I could just mask these like this, and then go inside, subtract. So then you'll have irregularities there. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. Another cool thing that you could do, I use it personally, was I made a new solid. I call this form. I use this in the I made a new solid. I called it form. I use the trap code form for this. I'll just go into base form. I'll just use one layer. I don't want this to be linked. I don't need this. So for the size of the Y, I just want it to be something like this. The size of the X, I want it to be a little bit like this. I'm just gonna put this one here. We're just gonna use 20 on 20 first, just to understand what's going on. Okay, cool. We're gonna add okay, just like that. We're gonna add a little bit on Y, just like this. All right, we're starting to get it there. I think we need more on, just like that. Okay, and then I'm just gonna what I could do actually to just make this very irregular, I could just go into the particle and just do a size random of 50%. So you'll have a very random particle size. And And then what I will do is I'll just go and do a fill. Just do select the layer, do a fill, and I could just use orangish yellow thing maybe, and this could happen in the beginning like that. So this is how I created so 1, 2, that's it. This disappears. Okay, so just appear for a few seconds or few frames, or just one frame, and then just go away. And this is what I did here. If we go back here, so that's how I did those things there. So if we just go to form, where did I put the form again? I think it's inside. Yeah, I think it's inside maybe. Let's just remove this. No, it's actually outside. I'll have to find out where that thing is. I completely, oh yeah, I must be here. This one, cool. Yeah, that's what it is. So it's form, and it just has so it just stays and then just, you know, changes. So again, I did the same thing when it comes to, you see all these layers again, the mask, blah blah blah. So you just put them where it makes sense to you. Again, my sense was there gonna be some irregularity and then they will disappear. The screen is processing this irregularities. Cool. And then comes the beast, and then the beast comes in, and that's where the beast comes in. So what is the beast? So this is the animation that I've done. Okay, so this is the animation. We like this, you see. Everything that I showed you now is exactly what I used. Now, the biggest beast here is compositing. So let's see how I composited this. So we have the logo animation. What I did obviously was add a background first. So the background that I did, you guys know me by now. If you are used to this channel, you know that I like black on blue, dark blue. So I just put the dark blue here. Why? I'll show you in a bit. So if we try to add increase, so this is the kind of background that we have. Cool. Now, so everything is going perfectly. That's nice. Let's add a little bit of CC. I tried to play with the posterized time, as you can see here, but decided to not go with it. So this is how it started. The first thing that I tried to do is go with a little bit of curve and make the blue look bluer, and the red increase more. The reason why I increased a bit the value of the red, it's because when I added the deep glow later, I wanted it to really pop up in a different way, as you can see here. That's why I just pushed the high values a little bit up. Great. Now what do we have? We have this huge glow going on, as you can see here, because of the deep glow. And now everything looks way better. And the logo has a little bit of, you can see that it's way stronger than normal. So it has this hollow thing around it. So that's pretty good. It's gonna be helpful later on. I'll show you why. Great. Now that we have this, where do we go from here? I went and I added a chromatic aberration, so it gives this TV kind of look, and in the same time it splits the letter, and that's what a glitch does in the same way. So I did this just to have, as you can see here, it's bulgy like a TV, like a real TV or headset, and then the colors are split when they get out of the center, because in the center you have no split, as you can see. But as you go away from the center, you're being split. And then if you go way too much, you will have a big split like we see here. And that's amazing. So I don't need to duplicate any pre-comp and change the color anymore. Everything is just done on this effect. Now, once all this is done, what I did was just add a little bit of sharpen just to make this sharp. Just, you see, without it, So now, without it, you'll have things a little bit blurry. With it, everything is super sharp and lines are correct. That's amazing. Now, what's next? What's next was I did a little bit of a blur. Okay, because this is a TV that is trying to process images. Okay, and so what I did to get this blur going on like this, I went and I created a map, as you can see here. So it's just a fractal noise that is animated over time and that is blurred. So it's just a fractal noise and it's playing. So whatever it is, what do we call that, white, the blur here, because it's reading this thing with all the effects and masks, it's just gonna blur by 10. Okay, so you can see that it's just blurring the part that are white, and the parts that are black, it doesn't care about them. And then I just kill that thing when the whole comp is done. Great. That is done. I went and I added this noise thing. So I'm just going to show you what it is. This noise here, as you can see here. This noise here. So this is a texture that I got online. So now I have that noise, which is really beautiful. Now that noise exists. And that's amazing. So as you can see here, the noise exists, and it keeps changing. So this is the noise. If we just try to go into it directly, this is the noise. So you just get this noise that just, you know, keeps on moving. Great. I just put it there, put it in hard light. Why in hard light? It's because it says in the noise you have to change it into hard light. Cool. And then I added all these things that we just saw. Okay, so all these things now are also affected by you see here, so all these things are beautifully affected by the CC, because without CC this is how it looks, with the CC this is how it looks. So you can see a huge difference. Now here is where of course, I forgot to mention that I have a form here. I just wanted to change things a bit. So I just added this form grid that just appears on the second scene and just disappears on the third scene. So first scene, I have a form that appears there. Second scene, I have the form that appears below. And then third scene, it just disappears. Cool. Now let's talk about what's going on. Why did you change the background color to that? Why did you, what do we call that? Why did you choose certain colors the same way? Well, the reason I did all this was because I took this composition, I duplicated it. It's the same composition. I just duplicated it. It's the same. Everything is exactly the same. Opacity, everything is exactly the same. I duplicated it. And then I added a directional blur. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this. I'm just going to put 0. So what's a directional blur? Basically, if I reset this, this is what a directional blur is. It tries to blur on a certain direction. Right now, it's going to 0, so it's just blurring its place. But if I try to change this somewhere, it's gonna change the direction of the blur. Okay, what's so good about that? Because if I do 90 and start increasing, I'm gonna have this amazing effect that happens on TV. And then when I layer it on top, you get that. But then if you increase this a lot, you get this beauty. But wait, this is only one color. How about here? You see the difference? Wait, how about with all the color correction that we did? See that? So that is the secret to this whole project, is this little guy here. It's this little guy. It's the directional blur composition that is blurred. And then it gives me this effect. So once I did this, I needed to do a little bit of here. I did a little bit of twitching to the opacity, like a TV. And then it twitches a lot again. And every time it twitches, I want to say that the TV is having a problem. So I went and I did an optical flare. It's just a very simple flare. I cleared all, and then I went and I chose the glow, and I added a lens texture, and I chose spasic for this one. So you can have this texture here. And then I went and I changed the color of it, and I blurred it. And this actually is animated the same way as this. So they twitch together. So I did the same thing for the other side. Again, they twitch together. Just to make it look like a real TV. That is done. I went and I added more details into the first twitch. So what I did was I went online and I tried to look for this. But it was really small. It was really, really small. So I went and I just took a little bit of it. I'm just trying to show you what this is. I'm just gonna do a no track made. Okay, so what I did was I put it here, and then I did a motion tile to duplicate it on the width and the height, and then I blurred it so that you don't see it clearly like this. So I just blurred it so to make it look like a real TV. And then I used this optical flare. Once I'm done, I used this optical flare as a luma matte. And now this texture is only gonna appear when this optical flare is gonna appear, and it's only gonna appear where it is appearing. And then you get this beautiful thing. And all in all, that's how I created this project. I hope you you learned a bit. This was a very fun project for me to do. Again, thanks to Fita for doing the sound design. My name is Mr. Popo. Thanks to all the new Patreons. We have hit 51 Patreons. And that's crazy because I never thought I'll be able to reach that. You guys are amazing. You guys are pushing me into releasing more and more tutorials. The more people comes in, the more I feel like now I really cannot forget this channel. Now I really have to start doing tutorials. So thank you so much all the Patreons. The project file, I'll put it in the description. So just check the description of this video and you'll find the project file there. Thank you so much. My name is Mr. Popo. And we are Popo. I'll catch you on the next one.